Was he friends with Chef Boyardee?
No, I don't know. I knew you guys would fucking do this.
I love Chef.
I thought you were dead.
Sun out of your eyes and be yourself.
Heard you were dead.
She's dead, wrapped in plastic.
That man's dead back there.
It was worse than dead. Must be dead. Is this a dead man, Doctor?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Roast Mortem Podcast. I'm Tom Saltman.
Yay, I'm Travis Lee.
Hey, I'm Cody McCann.
Feeling spicy tonight, right?
We are your hosts. We are your spicy hosts.
Little spicy boys. How did everyone do this week? You do some good things?
I did fucking subpar as fuck. You know why? Because I got sick. I got a sinus congestion.
Yeah, we're not going on Saturday right now. We're not going on Friday right now.
Yeah.
Tom had a little bit of the bubon. He had the bubons on his head. Bubonic plague.
Bubons. My head is, I wear a size 9 Yankees red cap now.
The Boobos.
A Fred Durst. Remember when The Who covered his song?
Yeah,
Behind Blue Eyes?
Real sad.
So gay.
Jesus Christ.
No, it was appropriate lingo for the time.
Confused so many people.
Cody, what did you do?
I
want to know. What did you do?
here we go. Ready? I was working in the city, and that's essentially just producing, editing videos for web and commercial.
By city, you mean the trash city, New York City.
The trash New York City, the biggest apple.
Rats off.
And Travis, you can probably corroborate this with me, but for like commercials nowadays, the subjects of the commercials usually have to be like very multicultural millennials. Right?
Oh, yeah. You need every single race,
tone,
every
yep.
single gender.
Yep.
You need the one that's like questionably homo,
yeah,
maybe?
or just gender fluid.
Gender fluidity.
Gender fluid.
At least willing to wear velvet.
Yeah.
And sometimes they even throw like a middle-aged person in there just to be like, look, we're totally all-inclusive.
Look, this person doesn't know how to use their phone, but
Yeah.
we're going to put them in the commercial anyway.
Yeah.
He only makes $85K a year. He's technically not successful on New York terms.
Never going to retire.
Yeah, so where I work, we usually look for that footage on good old Getty Images, you know.
Love Getty. Love Getty.
You love Getty?
There's a great Twitter that's dark stock photos. I think that's the name of it. Check that shit out.
That's
it's
funny.
hilarious. And there's a lot of Getty photos on there.
No shit.
Yeah.
I'm at work. I need to find footage of like these multicultural millennial fucks. You know, you hate them. I'll go out on a limb and say like I don't like them. I was going down a rabbit hole on Getty Images, and I found one particular image that I would like to share with everyone here. Travis, if you want to take the
All right,
tablet.
I'll take the helm here.
Take the tablet. GettyImages.com.
Getty.
GettyImages.com and do a slash.
Having a computer failure.
Yeah.
Getty Images.
GettyImages.com. That's not how you spell that.
Ah!
Play along at home.
I'm drunk
If you could
right
beat
now.
Travis,
Yeah, you can beat
you can
me.
write it.
Images.
Then you're a functioning adult.
GettyImages.com.
Listen, Travis's hands were designed to start fires and beat the shit
Slash
out of people.
license.
Type.
Yeah.
License / 1424848.
1, 4, 2, 4.
That's not the number.
No. 1,
no,
4,
no,
2.
no,
This is
no.
exhilarating.
Delete.
1,
4,
4,
2,
2,
4,
4,
8,
8,
4,
4,
5,
5,
1,
1,
3.
3.
And this is the image I found while looking up filthy multicultural millennials.
If you're not as slow as I am, and what happens?
Oh my god!
Wait, what? That's you!
I hate
Why are you
myself.
on Getty?
I'm available for purchase on Getty. I hate this. I was looking for dirty multicultural millennials, and I showed up myself.
You're a little tan.
Oh my god, I hate it so
shit.
much.
Wow.
Look at
Well,
you.
who uploaded that? You get
the-
royalties on that.
No, you don't. You should know. You like the subjects of stock
right.
photos.
Boston Cyber Arts Festival.
Yeah.
Dude, were you cybering in that picture?
You
Oh
look
my
cyber as
God.
fuck, and also you're not wearing anything green.
No.
No.
Zoom the fuck in.
Oh, yeah,
please.
he's got a green undershirt.
Please
Oh, I see.
zoom in.
Yeah, he's
I
got
see.
that undershirt
Yeah, okay.
For those of you playing it at home,
Wow, you
Cody
can
wears Cody usually wears green because of an OCD thing. But in this photo, I'm wearing a black shirt with a very clear and apparent green undershirt. You can see it.
you can purchase this license for $575.
Yeah.
You can look at Cody.
You can own my fucking likeness for $575, or you could downsize. What's What's the small?
Small size.
Let them know.
100. Oh, you're only 175 if you downsize to low res Cody.
That's good. There's two other people.
Do you know who those people are?
Yeah.
Or are they just complete strangers?
No,
that's
that's the guy that taught me how to code video games on the far left.
Chump.
And we're the two like best students he had. So we're demoing like virtual art in this photo.
Cody, you have
you
not
can't tell
aged.
That. Oh my god.
You have not aged that picture though.
Do you know what the trick is? Being an adult when you're like 8. Like I'm sitting on my couch like, oh yeah, I relate to fucking Ross more than Joey or Chandler. You know what I mean? Like,
Jesus Christ.
Oh boy.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah, so
whipping out that Friends joke.
Yeah, you just make sure you're an adult. Yeah, you just make sure you're an adult before you're 12.
That was my clap.
The clappy.
Yeah.
The Rembrandt's clap.
Yeah. That was the Friends clap.
Yeah, so you just make sure you're an adult, like between 8 and 12, and you just won't age for the rest of your life. That's the trick.
Well, you've nailed it, my friend.
You've done did it. Here's your computer.
You have more facial hair there. I think you're actually aging.
Yeah,
back.
I'm doing the Benjamin Button.
Yeah, the old Benjamin Bumble.
And for the people that are too lazy to look up this image, do you guys want to tell the people at home where the Getty watermark is in this photo?
It's right over your tits.
It's right over my face and tits. I hate it. I'm so angry. Like,
you should be angry.
Getty Images owns a likeness of me, and you can buy it if you really want to.
Well, I mean,
it looks like we're buying it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Are you gonna like pencil in little squiggly mustaches and gaps in my teeth?
We got a lot of stuff to do with it.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's 3 people, so we could just like put our faces on the other 2 idiots, and we got a podcast picture.
We could also just take a picture of the 3 of us.
We could.
We should really move on though, because
cheaper.
These pictures last forever. There's 1,000 words in there, and I think we're up to 330 on
Jesus
this.
Christ, I'm so
all right.
So that was my horrifying conclusion to this week, finding out I'm available for sale on Getty Images.
You heard it here first. Cody McCann, he's up for sale.
Up for sale.
It stings.
Now look, I know it's
Stings.
$575 for the high res, and the what was it,
$1.75.
$1.75 for low res. But
Yes,
what
sir.
about a blowjob?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I want a blowjob from you. How much?
That doesn't. You
500 roses.
You go talk to somebody from Getty or the Boston Globe.
Apparently, they own your lips.
Well, it's too bad no one took a picture of meat this week. So they could have sold it on Getty as man eating Chinese food with no shirt on.
Is that what you did all week?
That's what I did most of the week.
I thought you worked this week.
Yeah, I did, and then I got home and I took my clothes off and ate
okay.
Chinese food.
Okay, you compartmentalized.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm imagining you at the helm at your editor station. Just
No, that wasn't at work.
Yeah,
You know,
okay,
usually I
probably make money off that one.
Yeah, usually I tuck my legs in enough at work, so if my pants are on or off, you just don't know. Because it's under the
You're a
table enough.
shrewd businessman.
Yeah, shrewd, hard businessman. Cody, who is on the chopping slab block today?
The person on the
Slabby
chopping
block.
slab block today is, I did this, very fond of this man, Carlo Ponzi, a.k.a. the originator, the namesake of the Ponzi scheme.
The Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, dude. Know anything about that?
Don't confuse that with the Fonzie scheme, where you just start
No.
punching jukeboxes.
Well, bang.
Yeah, bang, bang, it broke my hand. I gotta sue you, Jacoby Myers.
So one thing I noticed about your dude, Cody, is that his name isn't Carlos.
No.
It's just Carlo.
Yeah, it's not Carlos.
It's
not
Italian.
Carl. It's not Carlito. It's Carlo.
But that's an Italian thing, like
yeah.
Carlo Gambino.
Yeah, yeah.
Lazy, forgetting the S.
Came to America.
lazy.
And he went by Charles or Chuck in America, which is
Chuck
easier to-
Ponzi. Chuck, that's
Yeah.
gross.
who's easier to give your capital for investment to, a Carlo Ponzi or a Charles Ponzi or a Chuck Ponzi?
Chuck.
Rank those.
I've given my capital
Rank those.
to
Charles, Chuck, and Carlo.
I've given my capital to a Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, one quarter plays.
Yeah.
Nolan Bush. Honestly, I'm gonna go with Charles.
Number one. Yeah, that's
Charles
most
Pons,
trustworthy.
But Ponzi's also a horrible last name.
It wasn't
It
back in
is.
the day.
No, well,
Not back in...
I mean phonetically.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
removing any connotation
But,
I have
like-
towards it currently.
One of the craziest
Right.
things I was noticing in this podcast was like people are throwing money at a gentleman called Ponzi, which is ridiculous. No one nowadays would do that.
No.
But just because it hasn't happened yet, people have no issue with it.
Yeah, you
Investing in a Ponzi business, like, it was wild.
you only have like a handful of career choices if your last name is Ponzi. Most of them involve sanitation. No money. You're not going to be an accountant.
No.
No.
Absolutely. No money trade. So let's get into him.
Subtitle of this episode, When No Amount of Paper Can Stop These Runs.
Ooh. Oh, jeez.
You get it?
It's a little
You
damp.
get it?
A little,
Get it?
little damp in the pants.
You get it? It's a poop joke and
Yeah.
an economics joke.
Yeah, I got more poop.
Well, a run on a bank is when people ask for their money and can't get it, and then it scares a bunch of other people to ask for their money, and they also can't get it, and the bank is pretty much turning away.
It's entirely related, but when was the last time you guys shit your pants?
Mayday.
Mayday.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow.
shit.
Nice. I was walking home really, really drunk. I shat my pants about a mile away from home.
Nice.
I stripped off my pants and my underwear, threw my dirty underwear on someone's lawn, went about my business with no
Why
pants
on
on.
their lawn?
It was in a bush. It wasn't right on their front lawn.
Was on the... All right, never mind.
Why did
Yeah.
that come up, Tom?
You were talking about runs.
Running.
Oh, okay. But I was sorry. I had my economy hat on.
I'm going to do this to you all night.
Sure, do it. see how much it slows me down. So anyway, do you get it? Like, no amount of paper can stop these runs. Like Carlos Ponzi set up a scheme in which he could never attain the amount of money necessary to keep his machine going.
I understand.
Take
Good.
the money and run, kid.
Good. Let's do some trivia and shtick.
Let's go.
Born March 3rd, 1882, in Lugo, Italy, we have Carlo Pietro Giovanni Guglielmo Tebaldo Ponzi.
Why do they have a billion names?
I don't know.
It's tight.
It's a lot.
I feel like the more unique your name is, the fewer other U's there are.
Yeah.
You don't have to really make a password. Just be your name.
Oh, yeah, username.
Just throw in a symbol in there. Put some. All the S's can be dollar signs.
Nothing too fancy happens until he gets into college.
I mean, he just sat around with his thumb up his Italian dickhole.
Interesting stuff happens when he goes to college. He ends up going to a college. He's lower class right now, and all of his friends are upper class, and they all get accepted to the same college. So it's like, ooh, I smell a sitcom.
Oh.
So all of his friends are hitting up operas, coffee houses, expensive things, and he's keeping up. So he's pretty much breaking his own bank, putting up images with his friends, trying to keep up with the Kardashians. It was thought of as a 4-year vacation to most locals. So it's just like, oh, you go here, you have a nice time, just bleed a bunch of tuition in.
And you go back home and you're
And you have a
James
piece of
from
paper.
James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah.
Do you actually pay for tuition in Italy? If you're from Italy and you listen to our podcast, which I no one from
Nope.
Italy is listening.
Nope.
I see the metrics. But tweet at us if you actually pay in pasta sauce. Because you might
No.
for tuition.
No.
That's a great question.
It is a great question.
You can pay us in pasta sauce.
You can.
So his ass goes broke keeping up with his friends at college. But there's an interesting fad going around Italy at the time.
Slick back hair,
No.
snakeskin boots,
Parents
Vespas.
No. Parents that had Italian bambinos were shipping them off to the United States, and said bambinos were returning with a fortune. It just seems like young Italian men do great in Italy and come back and make their family rich.
The first half of that sounds like Mexicans. The second half of it sounds like non-existent.
So his family is pretty much encouraging him to leave, get the fuck out so we can be rich. He was trying to restore his family's former glory.
Carlo, you gotta get out of the fucking house. I'm trying to make more bambinos in here. I don't want you to hear me knocking around. Your mama's gonna go crazy.
That was probably it.
Yeah, just trying to be Latin lovers. Get the kids out of the house.
Get out of
If you
here.
make some money on the way, that's fantastic.
Fantastica.
So Carlo wrangled up his life savings and departed on the Boston-bound SS Vancouver. I know, that's confusing. Boston-bound
SS Vancouver.
SS Vancouver. You know what the SS stands for on the ship title?
Super slippery.
Single steam screwer.
That's SSS.
Yeah, I know.
I thought it was just single Steve.
No.
Like if you're a captain of a ship, you're just single Steve. Never been married. Always on the ship.
Come on aboard, ladies. Single Steve's ready to bring you anywhere you want, especially to Vancouver.
It's the bang bus, but with water.
Whoa. November 15th, 1903, he disembarks the Vancouver with only the equivalent of $2.50 in his pocket.
Today, in today's money.
Nope, back then money.
Was this Italiani dollareles?
So that translates to about $638.
Nah, I don't know. Not a lot. Not a lot.
I feel like as part of this podcast, we should probably learn about inflation.
I crunched a few
Because,
numbers. Yeah.
like, pretty soon we'll be like, oh, you had $1, that's like $2 billion.
Yeah, I think we've done this
And I feel like
previously,
yeah.
probably poorly.
And I feel like we're increasingly wrong every time.
Dude, well, yeah.
So here's the riddle.
Tom's phone is blowing
Sorry,
up.
I'm blowing
We're ruining the podcast.
It's popular. Here's the riddle. Leaves with his life savings, walks off the Vancouver with $2.50.
You know what that means? He's sucking dick.
What? How does that make sense?
He's sucking dick.
If he leaves with his life savings and then lands with $2.50, he's been sucking dick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it
He
spicy?
didn't have any money.
No, he had life savings.
Life savings of what? 16 grains of orzo?
Essentially, the mystery we're trying to find out is how does a life savings disappear on a transatlantic journey?
Yeah. My question is it spicy or sweet?
What are you talking? What is going on?
He's sucking dicks. Is it spicy
Why
or
do you
sweet?
think he's sucking dicks? He's losing money.
He wants to suck dicks. He's paying.
He's paying people.
I will pay you 1 billion lira to suck that hot dick.
I don't understand what's happening.
Don't worry about
Where
it.
do you think his fortune went aboard the ship?
Booze.
He lost it overboard because he's stupid.
Lost it to sharks,
Sharks?
Literal sharks on
Like-
the Atlantic Ocean.
card sharks.
I thought you were gonna say street sharks.
No, there's no streets in the Atlantic.
I thought you were going to paint some Finding Nemo Bruce-esque character for us.
No, but I'm painting a picture
Bruce.
of this investing entrepreneur pretty much losing his life savings before any of the game starts. This is the kind of man we're dealing with.
All right, so he's-
Yes.
Walks onto a ship, and I think transatlantic voyages were 6 to 8 days back in like turn of the century, right, Travis?
I think around turn of the century. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about that.
So in a
like,
week, he loses his life savings to fucking a card shark aboard the Vancouver. This is who we're dealing with.
those French Canadians are pretty vicious.
Pons went on to say, I landed in this country with $250 in cash and $1 million in hopes. And those hopes have never left me.
Yeah, because
What
they're
is-
non-transferable
Yeah.
and they're also useless.
I don't want those.
I feel like that's the motto of everyone that plays scratch cards.
Yeah. You know, I found out recently that America spends more money on lottery tickets than they do on movies, music, video games combined.
That's sad.
pretty
It's going
sad.
to a good cause, at least here in New York. Schools, right?
No.
Yeah.
No
New York-
way.
yeah, dude. New York lottery goes to schools.
Going into sucking dicks. This is the moral of the story this week. If you lose
Yeah.
money, it goes into sucking dicks.
We'll look it up
Yeah,
later.
Cody brought in Ponzi. I'm bringing in sucking dicks.
I never heard of him. Anyway, Ponzi quickly learns English, and he resorts to washing dishes, waiting tables, sleeping at work on the floor, shortchanging customers, and good old regular theft, all just to get by. Here's where the money comes in. The Pons gained employment at Montreal's Banco Zarossi, a bank specializing in helping Italian immigrants get started. You know, one of those banks.
You're gonna want to get some semolina because it's very nice this year.
Invest in
You're gonna want to invest
Manchego.
in some sesame seeds to put on your semolina.
Carlo is gainfully employed, pretty comfortable. He mellows out. He picks up French from the locals.
Wee!
Jesus.
So,
That's my French.
very good. Thank you.
I learned it from Muzzy.
Yes, that's French. This idiot's talking.
Unlike this Tabo, Carlo ain't no dummy because he's got a language trifecta brewing right now. He's got the English from the Bostonians. Montreal gave him the French, and he's of course Italian. So he's got the Italian, English, and French all under his belt, and this helps him become hired as a bank teller because he can, interface with more customers, and he's accepted as a generally likable guy at this time.
Well, I mean, Italian and French is like Pepsi and Coke. Like basically the
I
same
don't
thing.
know. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Hey, whatever.
I think there's a King of the Hell episode
I think you might.
explaining how Peggy Hill couldn't interface with like a Montreal.
Well, call me stupider than King of the Hill.
Yeah. Now, if you don't know, here's what's supposed to happen with your general run-of-the-mill banking. The bank opens an account for you, safeguards your funds, and the bank takes your funds when you're not using them, makes good investments, and then the returns of those investments become your interest. So that's how banking is supposed to happen. Here's what Zarossi, the bank head, actually did. He paid his account holders interest with new account balances.
Oh.
And then when the new account balances had interest due, he would pay that with even newer account balances.
It was all shifting money.
And when the newest set of accounts had interest due, Zarossi would just up and disappear into Mexico with the remaining fortune, abandoning his family.
I hear Baja's very nice this time
Oh.
of Earth.
Oh yeah. So
Dude, he probably went to the Baja 800, Doug. He
Does
was
it-
like on a dirt bike.
does this
for a week.
play sound familiar to anyone?
It sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
It's a
to
proto
me.
Ponzi scheme. It's a scheme of Ponzi before the man himself. And
He was
those
like,
were-
wow, I like this. I also like my last name.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he didn't put his namesake to a horrible act. That was probably someone else. But this is known as robbing Peter to pay Paul before Ponzi, was on the scene. That's the name of the scheme.
I've heard that. I think they still use that in Great Britain because they've never heard of Italians before in Great Britain.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a myth.
Little side note about them. They thought that spaghetti grew on trees.
Oh,
the BBC report.
That is a great video.
Yes.
I love that.
So they really don't know Italians.
If you don't know what we're talking about, the BBC did an April Fool's joke where they posited spaghetti came off of trees, and a bunch of New Englanders and London people believed it. Not New Englanders, Englanders.
Old Englanders.
Yeah, Riggs Englanders. So Carlo is out of a job because of this shitty, tricky man, Zerosi, who up and left with a bank fortune into Mexico. Zerosi is actually living, Ponzi is actually living with Zerosi's abandoned family, which is kind of awkward if you think about it. Hey, you're a patriarch.
Zerosi's like, they're yours now.
Yeah, pretty
Don't
much.
touch my wife that much.
Yeah.
Not it.
During this appointment, he's wandering around. He found himself in a familiar empty warehouse, a.k.a. a former Zerosi client. So he was, familiar.
He's living in a warehouse?
No, he's just unemployed and wandering around, kicking a can, and he finds himself in this familiar abandoned warehouse. Because it's a Zerosi former employee, he's kind of familiar. He walks around, finds a checkbook, writes himself a check for $423.58.
420, mad sick.
423.58. I don't know.
3.58 is, that's off my radar.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, then we're going to end the podcast right now. You should just go rent the movie Blank Check.
Yeah.
Because that's how the rest of the
pretty
story
much, yeah.
happens.
So this is his first financially illegal thing. He's probably
First
done...
thing on paper where he's making
Yeah.
financial gains in a greasy way.
Greased.
He was stealing and shortchanging earlier, but this is like the first, white collar fuckery. Coppers eventually catch on to the old boy, throw him into the pokey for 3 years.
3 years for 420?
423.58. During his incarceration, he wrote back to his mother, explaining that he was employed as an assistant warden.
Oh, that's hilarious.
This is the mom that sent him over there to get rich and come back, and he's like in a jail, and he's like, yeah, I'm a warden.
That would be a good instance of getting fired to jail.
Yeah.
Pretty good, man.
Most people don't get fired to jail.
Most people...
they get fired to jail. They don't get hired to jail.
Yeah. I mean, then you get fired to prison.
Ponzi gets out of jail, returns to the USA, got caught up in a scheme moving Italian immigrants across the border, got arrested again.
Wait, what?
Wait, there's no border. There's no
wait, he's in
fucking
Vancouver
border.
at this point.
Yeah, he's in
No,
Montreal.
That
He's in
doesn't
Montreal.
stop anything.
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Explain it to Travis.
He's sneaking them into the U.S., but still, it
Via
sounded
Canada.
like Italy just moved towards Canada.
kind of.
So essentially, it's easier to get, if you're an Italian immigrant, it was easier to get into Canada and then hop the border into like New York or Boston instead of actually landing direct.
America
into
didn't
Boston.
want any more Italians at this point.
We were full up.
We were very racist against Italians at this point.
We did
When
not
I say
like them.
we, I mean, not me.
Yeah, there was a general theme. Like, you ever seen fucking Gangs in New York? They didn't like the Irish. They didn't like the Italians.
That's right.
Gets 2 years for trying to ship 5 Italians across the border.
Just 5?
Yeah, it was 5.
We
It's probably
could deal with
friends.
5.
Probably friends.
One of those
not
could have
bad.
been Papa John.
This is the beginning of the Ponzi scheme. Your boy Pons Gruber discovers what an international reply coupon is.
Wait a minute. Did you just say Pons Group?
I did.
All right, cool.
I said Pons
All right,
Gruber.
fuck yeah.
Okay.
I want to.
He discovers-
skate that one.
He discovers what an international reply coupon is, aka an IRC. Now, today,
IRC is like shit that you like. It's like get weird porn on.
Yes, today IRC is known as Internet Relay Client, and yes, Travis, you can, if you really try, get porn from
I
it.
haven't done that.
No, it's not really popular nowadays.
You haven't lived,
We have
dog.
Skype and Discord, but
Dude, IRC's OG shit though.
know for this podcast, IRC means International Reply Coupon, and what that is supposed to do is you're supposed to, if you send a letter international, you take one of these coupons, you shove it in with your letter, and the recipient can redeem that coupon for postage. So it's an easy way to get somebody to talk back to you if you spring for their postage.
Right.
Before,
It's a way of saying I got the postage covered.
just talk to me back. It's on me. You know.
They
what I mean?
still have that shit today, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
These
I've
are very
definitely
old
sent shit
things.
back,
Thank
and
you.
there's like a little thing in the corner that says like postage paid. Don't worry about it, bruh.
Yeah, I got you.
Gotcha, bruh.
So here's the Eureka Ponzi scheme moment. Because of recently wonky post-World War I supply and demand, a coupon from Italy bound to America would be 4 times cheaper to purchase than its redemption. So, essentially, an American, or somebody on the American side, could send a quarter to Italy. That quarter could be converted into the Italian currency, the lira, back then.
No, it's meatballs.
No, it was the lira. And the lira could be used to purchase the international reply coupon, and that coupon could be sent to America, where it could be redeemed for $1, or $1's worth of stamps. You know what I mean?
You send a quarter, you get $1.
And then you sell the stamps at resale value for $1.
Right.
So that's Ponzi's magic machine.
That's a spicy little scheme he's got going on there.
It's pretty nice. It works in small scale. He did a proof of concept.
I mean, it's a great turnaround.
Yep. Well,
on paper.
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Is anyone getting fucked in this transaction or no?
Yeah. If you just
the countries, right?
Victimless crime.
There you go. Yeah.
The country's getting fucked.
The country whose price is higher gets fucked.
Yes.
AKA
So the
America.
U.S.
In this case, America. We will get to that.
Because meatballs really aren't worth that much.
Yeah. I mean,
And just to refresh, it was not the currency of Italy at the time.
No, still the currency. Modern day. They traded in the euro for the meatball again. They went to the euro for a little bit. They went back to the meatball.
Berlusconi was 90% meatball man.
So essentially, quarter in, dollar out. That's the Ponzi magic money machine. This method is called arbitrage, and it is completely, totally, 100% legal. And it's the gaming of a differential value of one item in 2 unequal systems, and you can kind of see that.
So people still use that shit today or no?
Oh yeah, it goes on today. If you want to just imagine like a JRPG where like it's 100 gold for a potion, but like the next town over has a merchant buying potions for like 200 gold.
Okay, that makes sense to me because I have a nerd brain.
Yeah, so naturally if you were playing this JRPG, you just stock up on all the potions you could, take it to the merchant who's buying them for a higher value, and offload as many as you can. That's arbitrage, totally legal, and this is pretty much what Ponzi was doing with coupons and stamps.
Tight.
Dude, he's just an old lady. He's just trading coupons.
That's true. And Travis, you mentioned this like not 2 minutes ago, but this is at the expense of Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Ponzi scheme means every quarter he sends through the machine, Uncle Sam gets a bill for 75 cents.
Hey, can I just interject right here?
Sure! I don't give
Dolly
a
is
fuck.
making a lot of snoring noises right now.
She is.
She's a baby Bill.
Can we
I'm
hear
gonna give her a little tap. Hey, dog.
As you all know, if you start doing shit that's costing Uncle Sam money, Uncle Sam will eventually shut your ass down. You know what I mean?
He's got a big stick.
Yeah, he's going to come at you with a cease and desist or a subpoena or just a fucking parade of G-men with glass dildos. I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
Yeah, big time.
Like
Glass
the
dildos.
90,
The glassiest.
92% sure that's what happens. So Carlo simply sees this as a 4 times multiplier to his money. It's like, oh, this method is a button I can press indefinitely that will 4 times my money. And on paper, yeah, that's what it is. Like, it can do that. But he oversimplified this process like a fucking idiot. It was like, you didn't think about anything. You just thought about the payoff. It was quarter goes in, dollar comes out to Carlo. He did not care about the ethics. He was screwing the government, and the government would stop your ass if you screwed him too hard back in the day. He didn't foresee...
You don't screw Uncle Sam!
Uncle Scram!
Uncle
Excuse
Scram!
you!
Uncle Scram.
Yeah, you heard
Uncle
that.
Scram
Uncle
comes
Scram.
at you with a bill at 9mm and 7 macaronis.
Thank you.
Amen.
Didn't care about the ethics. He didn't care about his scheme correcting the supply and demand curve, because if you let this go on long enough, Italy would just, fix its prices so this inequality between 2 systems wouldn't exist.
And then all the nonas won't be able to write their niños.
El Nino.
He
Dear El Nino.
Niño, I
Give
miss
you
you so much.
That's English.
I love you so much. Very good. And
Send me un papajan coupon.
love Nona Straganona.
He didn't account for the actual physical coupons that were in circulation, and he didn't account of how to turn the coupons back into money. Who the fuck buys stamps from anything other than the post office? If some Italian was like, you want stamps? No.
Yeah, only if they're made of leather.
Yeah, it's like, no.
I love those leather stamps.
Yeah, they taste good.
So shareable.
And he also did not account for the fluctuations of the American dollar versus the Italian lira. This was just good old 4 times multiplier button. He could press and make his money, quadruple as many times as he needed. So he, in his mind, thinks he has infinite monies. It's kind of like the rare candy code in Pokemon.
Oh. Give me the more
Well,
money.
JRPG's happening tonight.
Yeah. I gotta
It's more like IRPGs, Italian RP role
I
playing
see
games.
what you did there.
I see what you did.
Italian role-playing semolina rolls.
Semolina!
You're going to want a nice semolina.
Semolina!
I'm going to ask, what's a semolina?
Yeah, it's a type of wheat.
Great.
Yeah.
And a lot of Italian bread's made of semolina. Why are you asking now? Why
I
didn't you
don't
ask
know.
before? Semolina.
Linis.
To be fair, Ponzi did have a successful proof of concept, as I slur that entire sentence. He just failed to realize it was not infinitely repeatable and scalable. Like, yes, it works for what you're doing now. If you think you can make this any bigger, you might...
Short-term goals.
Yeah, you might hit scales of burden or what have you.
It's like when you're trying to get swole, you know?
Yep.
You can add 5 pounds on your squats for only so long.
How thick can your legs get? Your thighs can only get so thick.
There's probably an upper limit to that shit.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Same stuff, get swole. Anyway.
So, here's where Ponzi gets a little greedy. He was able to do this and kind of like live off of it himself, but he makes a company whose sole purpose it is to accept money from anyone wanting to invest into this process. Ponzi's like, I can make you rich. I need this much money, this much time, and I will return this much money to you. You know
Right,
what I
so
mean?
he's throwing his dick around. He's like, hey, check out this company. It's basically free money, the company.
Yeah, it's like I can multiply your money. Give it to me now. I'll give it to you. I'll give it back to you bigger later.
Too
You know
much
what I mean?
swag.
I don't see anything wrong with this.
Nope. He'd hire employees that worked on commissions. A recruiter would get 10% cut, and the recruiter's recruits would get a 5% cut. So everyone's getting paid with not money,
Just cuts.
just cuts.
Cuts.
And I know what our listeners are thinking. It's not salami cuts. This
No,
is
no.
a fiscal cut.
Listeners, I was thinking that. I was getting so hungry, and you crushed my dreams, Tom. You crushed it.
Ponzi took money from everyone. Working class Italian immigrants, much like himself, up to 3/4 of the Boston Police Department. That's weird.
Dang.
He even accepted money from a priest. He took money from a family and his personal employees. Not employees that were in with the scam, but just like his butler, his chauffeur. He would take money from them. And like that's a huge red flag. If someone paying you asks for money, you say no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no
Yeah.
like no, the cash flow goes one way, not two.
What would Mama Ponzi think?
So
I'll let you know. What
did he have a
Mama Ponzi
butler or
thinks.
was it like a driver? Like what?
Both.
He had both.
He had a butler and a driver and other.
By
Let's
any
get into
chance,
that.
what kind of car do you have?
Great, thank you for asking that. Fuck yeah.
I'm hard.
Yeah. Ponzi's scheme essentially just at the very core is a shuffling of coupons and stamps, but to Ponzi, it's just a vacuum that's taking in investors' money. So he's rolling in money from people that, you know, have faith in his ability to multiply the cash. So he's just rolling in liquid funds right now. Purchased a Lexington mansion, 12 rooms.
Nice.
I don't know what he's doing with all 12 rooms. He has a wife, Rose, at this point. Not really consequential.
Can I pause you for
Yeah,
a second
sure,
here?
yeah.
Because it's like you're just like talking about all this shit, and I don't know. My brain might be fucked. But you're talking about rolling shit. You're talking about like spreading money around.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about pasta the whole time.
Why? Is that Tom? The
Like
Tom? You did that.
rollatinis?
Fuck you, Tom.
Yeah,
Rollatini's
can
like
use a s-
ricotta.
Yeah, ricotta.
Ricotta's
Oh.
a cheese. That's not
Like
a
I'm
pasta.
so hungry right now. Can we order something?
Let's order a pie after this.
Hell yeah, I'm
Sure,
ordering pie.
I can do that.
Getting a cheesy ass pie.
Lexington Manor, 12 rooms, hired butlers and chauffeurs. Said that earlier. He would take money from them, which is like, no, don't do that. A new gold and diamond accented wardrobe for him and the waifu at the time. Her name was Rose. He bought a limousine. I think it was a T Ford or a Model T Ford limousine, so custom.
A very it's a T Ford because it's long.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
lanky
Oh,
Ford.
yeah. And something called a locomobile.
Oh, I like that.
That sounds like some kind of burrito.
Yeah, so that's pretty much like the.
Did he have 4 of them? Were they
No,
4
no.
locomobiles?
I see what you did there. They were essentially for him at the time. Those were antique cars. So the old timey jalopies.
Cars have been out for over 6 years.
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want some of the old stuff.
Yeah.
They don't build them the way they used to.
Yeah, so like I think it had like 3 wheels or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And like yeah, the seats were just a bench.
Those what is it? Those British golf carts that you don't need to have a license for.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a 3-wheeled car.
Oh yeah, it's like a 1-stroke
yeah.
engine. Like,
Gonna get to the mine on time tonight. I turned to a Minnesotan.
Yeah, that was weird. How'd you do
Hey,
that?
I'm from Great Britain, eh?
Somebody asked earlier what his mom thought about all this. He had his mom shipped out from Italy, first-class cruise tickets.
Was she still alive?
Yeah, I mean, you usually don't ship cadavers across the Atlantic.
Dude, that would be...
It happens.
Yeah.
It depends on the war.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But yeah, so like his mom was thinking it was working. You know what I mean? She sent her boy, across the Atlantic to make a fortune, and then suddenly, first-class cruise tickets show up in her mail. It worked. You know what I mean? That's what she's thinking.
That's a hell of a phone call.
Yeah.
Hey, mama.
Mamma mia.
You gotta guess what I got. I got a big old fortune. But guess what? You gotta come here to see it. Because I ain't got no fortune to send to you, mama.
Yeah. Great transition,
Yeah.
Tom. I like this is his most vindictive move. He buys a majority stock of the Hanover Trust, a bank whose manager previously cock-blocked Ponzi because he didn't believe in the stamp thing.
Cock block?
Yeah, he stopped a loan.
Cocky
Ponzi went to this guy. He's like,
I
look,
thought I thought you were talking some like financial terms right
No.
now, and I just realized you said cock blocked.
I said cock-blocked. Cock-blocked. Yeah,
I was like, what is a cock block? Is that when you like invest in mutual funds and then you de-invest in mutual funds and then you invest
Yeah.
in foreign trades?
Yeah,
Roth
it's-
IRAs.
it's-
Roth.
yeah, it's called cock blockchain.
I love cock blockchain and people.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
So essentially, this bank manager, like Ponzi, was like, "Look what I can do with stamps," and this bank manager's like, "No, fuck you. That's ridiculous.
Get out of here, David
Get
Blaine.
out of here." And then Ponzi comes back with enough money to buy a majority in the bank. I was like, "Ha, fuck you." That's pretty badass. You know
That's
what I
pretty
It is
baller.
pretty badass.
That's
mean?
baller.
I love that.
It seems like pretty spiteful and could have something to do with his downfall eventually.
Oh, absolutely. So
Yeah.
that's Hanover Trust. That's one bank he bought a majority in, and then he also set up multiple multi-million-dollar accounts across the U.S. Eastern Seaboard. So a lot of accounts with a lot of money.
Mm.
Travis, contain yourself. He bought a macaroni company
Whoa!
and a wine company.
Not so whoa.
I mean,
Yeah.
Whoa!
Italian.
Macaroni!
Yeah.
So wait, was that how
That's for you ladies out there.
Yeah. Was that how Kraft was started?
I don't know. I don't even know if this is
Was
Kraft.
he friends
It's
with
just
Chef Boyardee?
No, I don't know. I knew you guys would fucking do this.
I love Chef. So wait, because he bought the macaroni company, I'm gonna like talk a little bit about this. I don't want to get us too derailed.
Okay.
But because he bought the macaroni company, did he do like the Scrooge McDuck with macaroni? He just like jumped headfirst into a pile
diving
of
into
macaroni.
a vault filled with macaroni.
I can imagine it.
I think that happened. I'm not.
Stop. Is it cooked macaroni or is it dry?
It's cooked. It's so sloppy.
it's
It makes like a
gross.
squish
Yeah.
sound when he jumps in.
I don't like that.
Okay, a different total derailment.
Sure, get them all in.
Did he
Get
have
them all in.
anything-
Fuckers.
Did he have anything to do with the macaroni grill starting up?
Zero
No-
facts?
no
I
landing.
I'm gonna say yes. As someone that didn't do any research, I'm gonna say yes.
Yes, agree. With also armed with baseless facts, I agree with Travis.
And there you go. You heard it here first. Carlo Ponzi. If you've ever asked your wife to marry you twice at the macaroni grill, you can thank Carlo Ponzi.
Thanks, dog. That's absolute fact. Moving on, Cody.
So that's the high life Ponzi was living with his Ponzi scheme.
Right there.
Yeah.
Now, to recap, the Ponzi scheme essentially sent a quarter into Italy to be bought a coupon with, an international reply coupon. This coupon would be sent to America, be redeemed for a greater value of stamps, which could be resold for face value, which was for about $1. It's a little bit of a shuffle, but if you want to send a quarter to Italia, it will come back $1 if you trusted Ponzi.
A little legwork will do you.
Yeah, a little legwork.
Little free money.
Got 75 cents out of it.
Free money is great.
We all know Ponzi schemes cannot go on forever because there is not always a new wave of investors. It is limited. You will eventually run the fuck out. So, Ponzi gets caught, of course.
Oh,
Travis, you looking at
So
porn over
ghost. I'm watching Cody porn on Getty Images.
there? It's available. I see $0 of that cut. One of the Boston financial writers posited it was impossible for Ponzi to return these promised profits in a legal manner. He was like, it could be done, but he's breaking a lot of rules if he's doing it. Pretty much putting a speed limit on Ponzi's scheme. It's just like, there's no way he's operating in a legal fashion.
Trying to hide a little bit.
Somewhere there's a gray area where a manipulation is happening of either people or math or something. You know what I mean? This was the first boy to be like, he's not right. That boy Ponzi is not right in the head.
He's making free money out of stamps.
Like any good businessman, Ponzi sues his ass for libel. Wins $500,000 in damages.
Nice.
So that pretty
Ooh.
much shuts everyone the fuck up. Because back in the day, proof
Lawsuits
of burden
meant something.
Yeah, and proof of burden was on the fucker saying it, aka the newspaper.
Right.
So if a
The
newspaper
Boston
print-
newspaper.
Ponzi's doing something real strange over here. He's got this big car, and he's got this big scheme, and he's giving out money for free. He's got quarters.
That's how they talked.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Straight up Bostonian
I'm
accent.
just painting a picture.
Yeah, it's a very, very vivid picture.
And one Joseph Daniels comes out of the woodwork. He's a furniture salesman who previously lent Ponzi in good faith a bunch of furniture, for the company.
Can you turn into more furniture for me?
No. He didn't want. He just wanted Ponzi to pay him back. So he's like,
Was he from New Hampshire?
everything's Boston.
I feel like
based,
they
yeah.
only make furniture in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Very quaint furniture.
That and freedom.
Amish. Yeah.
And freedom.
Ron Paul.
Joseph Daniels is like, have all this furniture, get me back when you can. And then Joseph Daniels sees Ponzi being a multimillionaire. He's like, hey, I feel like you can get me back now. And, Ponzi engages in a legal skirmish. Now, why is this troublesome? This sets off red flags for me.
This is a Trump move.
Yeah, if he is the multimillionaire he claims to be, just pay off the furniture and be done with this.
Yeah.
That guy is hurting your image a lot by saying you owe him money. As a multimillionaire, that's problematic, right?
You give me the furniture, you say it's a maple. It's like a cedar. Who cares? I ain't not gonna pay this.
Yeah, Malacca.
And also beg the question.
That's a Greek term.
Yeah, whatever. Same area. One's a shoe, one's like a turd. Just like a shitty splat coming out of Europe.
It's a beautiful
Don't
sand
confuse the
filled
two. So it begs the question, why does a multimillionaire need to borrow furniture to begin with? Like, what the fuck is going on? Questions start arising.
George Foreman didn't go to Rent-A-Center. He just advertised there.
When the authorities questioned Ponzi, like, how do you invest your money? Ponzi calmly and as a matter of factly claimed, oh, I have my shit invested in stocks, bonds, and a little bit of land.
little bit of land. Mainly
No,
stamps.
How does that make you feel if he's invested in those things?
Um,
Those are solid choices, right?
Yeah,
They are
without-
solid choices, but I guess it's the bad flavor comes from the idea that nothing has to do with his actual scheme.
There you go.
Yeah, without the fact that he's just not licking stamps and making money.
Exactly.
You know.
Why is someone that claims to have this money magic machine, why would that individual be invested in anything else?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, your money should be in your scheme, not in stocks, bonds, and a bit of land. That's a good answer for everyone except Ponzi. You know
Is
what I
he
mean?
also the person that invented Thousand Island? Because if he says he has 1,000 islands
What,
of
the
land,
dressing?
he might have a dressing he kept in his back pocket.
I was gonna say maybe if he invested in Smart Water or Gatorade, that would make sense because he's licking so many stamps. He's got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, gotta get hydrated. Electrolytes in the water. In the water. The electrolytes
water.
are in the water. Cody just raised the brow at us.
It's the electrolytes plants crave.
You know what it is? We haven't drank any orange juice tonight, so we're
Do we have any? We just do little shots?
we'll do a shot of orange juice.
Shot
on
of
our-
orange
Our
juice.
next break.
Mm.
Hear that,
Yeah.
everyone? Next break, orange juice break. Everyone,
OJ.
pull over.
Probably
go to
get
7-Eleven.
edited out. It was also hurting Ponzi that his scheme was un-American. Like, don't
It's
let-
pretty un-American. He's
Yeah.
just trying to get those liras.
Well, he's doing it at the government's expense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every quarter he sends through, Uncle Sam takes, 75-cent hit, and that does not bode well for American investors when your scheme fucks America over. You
It's
know?
like inflation.
Yeah, sure.
That's
that-
how it happens.
I know this took place over a long period of time, but when this started to come to light, what would be the time period?
The 1920s, like
1920s.
around the fucking Great Depression.
Right before
Right,
the
right when
Depression.
America could really handle the load.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right when we're like, hey, let's keep dancing for a while. This is good. You keep dancing for a while, everything's going to be all right. And then it's
They're
right
all
in the-
flappers. It's fine.
One of my favorite proofs against Ponzi's feasibility is that after a little bit of arithmetic, it was revealed that in order for Ponzi's financial head to be above water, he'd have to use his money machine 160 million times. So just
Shit.
the amount of money he's taken in, there has to be a counter promise for interest. He would do the Ponzi magic money machine 160 times. That's ridiculous. Because There's only 27,000 of those coupons in existence.
So
he didn't he didn't do the long-term math.
He fucked himself.
He was just like,
in the butt.
Yeah, he was just like, I'll do this until we're all rich. How many times do I need to do that? Feasibly impossible. There's literally not enough fuel in the world to get the Ponzi machine started.
He made the lasagna and realized he didn't have any chop meat.
Build that wall.
Build that lasagna wall. Dude, Garfield hate Mondays. Garfield hate Monday, dog.
Ponzi needed 6,000 times the number of IRCs that were actually available.
Wait, Cody, you're still talking about a place where you can find weird porn?
No. What do you... No,
the IRC.
Oh, IRC, right.
Yeah.
It's a different IRC.
Jesus, Travis.
These were such huge numbers that writers of the time were using Titanics as benchmarks for the measurement. Like, Ponzi would need to send 100 and... Like, so... I don't know how much it was. It was probably like 8 or... like a handful of Titanics full of IRC stamps back and forth the Atlantic for this to be possible. Like,
Dude, joke's on him. They would all hit icebergs.
Yeah, you don't want to transport anything on the Titanic.
yes, but because
That's like using USPS ground. You're never going to get that package. You're never getting it.
Yeah.
Or they're going to fold it in half.
So writers were having fun being like, this guy would need a handful of Titanics, you know what I mean, at his disposal to keep his head above water. This naturally started to run on Ponzi's company. All of this anti-Ponzi media was just like, oh, scared the public, and the public demanded their money back. And, you know, hopefully Ponzi has, you know, enough money to stop the run. And Ponzi wandered into this mob, handed out donuts, coffee, and $2 million. Good combo. Good
yeah, well, I was
combination.
going to say, there's like donuts, coffee,
And
pretty
two-
normal.
Yep.
That's like when you've had a bad week at work, they'll buy you donuts and coffee.
Yep.
Help boost office morale. $2 million.
Yep, that's the cherry. on
You've
top.
been overdrawn for 6 months. Why don't you have a donut?
Yep. So Ponzi stops this run on his company, essentially halting a bankruptcy fireball headed towards his face with a little bit of coffee, a little bit of donuts, and $2 million. That was enough to stop the mobs from demanding.
Was it
money.
Krispy Kreme?
I don't know.
Half and half?
I don't.
He better have half and half.
Oh.
I'm going to snitch on him if he doesn't. You got to have half and half in your coffee. Or full cream. Full cream boy.
Are you a fan of French vanilla?
I do whole milk because I'm a man.
Fuck French vanilla.
I like 2%.
Fuck hazelnut in its asshole. If he was handing out hazelnut, I would be full snitch. I'd be like, this dude Ponzi has stamps. He's trading them.
He's not doing anything.
Pokemon cards.
Like
I've never seen Travis so angry. I'm
Very-
willing to go full snitch on someone.
I will snitch on that bitch.
he's frothing at the gash.
No hazelnut.
A little bit of donuts, a little bit of coffee, $2 million stops the run on Ponzi's company. So he's safe. But it does get the attention of United States Attorney Daniel Gallagher.
Of Oasis.
Is that what that is?
I don't know.
Dan Gallagher puts Ponzi in his crosshairs, fires off an audit, and finally, somebody with the proper authority is like, let me see the fabled Ponzi scheme books. Give them to me. Let me see how you're doing this. And of course...
Ponzi
Right.
scheme.
And of course, this was like a very well-kept secret because Ponzi didn't want people to know that he was an idiot fucking around with stamps.
And all of a sudden, his accountant comes in there with a sweeping leg kick and an elbow. You do that, rip off the people of the United States of America,
No.
you Italian bastard.
Don't do that.
You Ponzi, you get back over there and you tell me what the lira does for you, and I'll tell you what the American justice system does for its people.
Thank you.
I'm
Yeah!
gonna cut that all out.
No.
Dan Gallagher demands the Ponzi books. Ponzi hands over a handful of tattered, scrappy index cards with no numbers on them. It's just names of account holders.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's just like, his name's John Smith. He gave me money. The way I figure it is like Ponzi controlled the amount of investments. It was probably like, I only take like shots on $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, so it's easier to remember.
Right.
If John Smith like came up and it was like, give me $758, Ponzi would be like, yes, round it to 1,000, just so it would be easier in his air quote books.
Right.
I feel like he'd have a hard time doing his scheme today because it's very hard to find stamps.
Oh, I was gonna say
It's not hard to
loopholes,
find
but
stamps.
Well, I mean, you go to post office, obviously, no brainer.
Stamps.com.
Stamps.com, that's a thing?
not sponsored by
We're not
Stamps.com.
sponsored by them.
I don't know. I went to 7-Eleven thinking they'd have stamps,
Why do
right?
They have stamps.
I don't know. It's a little convenience corner stop.
They should.
Yeah, they should. I went in there. There was this young man, probably about 18 years old, and I asked for stamps, and he didn't know what stamps were.
Oh,
Really?
He legitimately did not know what stamps were. And then this other guy who's about our age, this like big Primus head, because I've heard him talk about Primus every time I walk into 7-Eleven. Yeah. And he came over, he's like, oh, you need stamps? Yeah, we got stamps. This kid doesn't know what he's talking about.
Jesus.
So they did have stamps.
They did have stamps. In the end, they had stamps. But it'd be a lot harder nowadays to get stamps as a Ponzi scheme. Man.
Millennials. Filthy brown millennials that show up in Getty Images. Carlo, in trouble, hired a spokesperson because of all this negative PR he was getting. And this guy's name was William McMasters. Fucking cool name.
That's a great
That
name.
is a great name.
William McMasters.
Willie McMasters.
Willie Will.
McMasters. That's good. This backfired because McMasters saw through Ponzi shit and wasn't a dumbtard.
Because he's a McMaster.
Yeah. The man is a financial idiot. He can hardly add. He sits with his feet on his desk, smoking expensive cigars in a diamond holder, talking complete gibberish about postal coupons and whatnot.
You really pulled that off. That's a good McMaster.
Keep it in there.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he sounded like that. At this point, Carlo had claimed he had $7 million in liquid assets. This was an $11.5 million overestimation.
So he really...
Negative $4.5 million in the red.
Ooh.
Liquid means that you can just drop it out, right?
Alex Mack.
That's what that means,
Okay.
Travis. Thank you.
Oh, I know. I've always seen like total liquidation. This means like you gotta just like drop it all out, right?
All of it's got to go if it's
All right.
totally liquidated.
I had that issue today.
Taco Bell! The final stake through Ponzi's financial heart was an investigation into his past, revealing his time at Zarotsi Bank, where his then employer pretty much pulled exactly what he's pulling now,
Oh, shit.
aka robbing Peter to pay Paul. Also, mugshots were turned up from his time forging that check, and that other time he was smuggling Italian goods into the country.
Right.
Salami.
His mother.
No, the Italian men.
Oh, right. Oh, from Canada. Yes.
from Canada.
Yes.
So he was, essentially, what is it called? Is it still human trafficking?
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Human trafficking, forging checks, yada, yada, yada. His mugshots show up. This pretty much decimates his company's everything. You know what I mean? It's junk at this point. Gets thrown in jail. It's found out, thrown in jail. His jailers...
This is the third time he's in jail or second time?
1, 2,
That's three.
Yep,
Three. Third time. Third time's a charm.
And his jailers commented he was eerily smiley for fresh meat. Like he was just sitting in his cell, just smiling like a...
He's been in jail 3 times now. I don't think he's fresh meat. This is like a prosciutto.
Well,
He's been aging for a while. You gotta get the crust off of him.
Yeah, you got to cut that thick bit off, and then you don't want to put any pressure on the slicer. You don't want to let the prosciutto do the weight when you're doing a slice.
Yeah, you let
It's a
it
safe way.
flow.
It's a
Yeah,
safe
it's like
way.
smooth.
it was revealed Ponzi had only processed $61 with his money machine. There was $61 worth of coupons in his house after he got arrested.
God damn.
So he's needing
yeah.
So he's needing multi-million dollars to stay ahead of the game. And after, we tear down the curtain and look at the man behind it, there's only $61.
That's fucking fantastic.
That is
That's
pretty
hilarious.
crazy.
I'll get around to it. I'll get some more stuff done.
I'll get more suckers to pay for the other suckers. $20 million worth of losses in that period, adjusted for inflation. 27 greenbacks, adjusted for 2017 greenbacks. That's roughly $250 million shuffled around and disappeared.
Quarter bill, eh?
It's pretty crazy. $250 million in
Our time.
1920.
No,
Oh, in our time.
Our time, it was
time.
20 million. His assets, I told you earlier, it was in a bunch of banks across the eastern seaboard.
Well, yeah, but
Right.
you mentioned the
Cars.
cars and stuff. I was more thinking like properties.
He had the Lexington mansion with 12 rooms. I think that was about it.
Wow, just 12 rooms.
And he had an office in Boston, which all this shit was going down in.
Probably had marble floors.
Yeah, heated by infants on treadmills.
Heated by different immigrants, not Italian immigrants.
6 different banks across the eastern seaboard implode once Ponzi's arrested.
6 of them.
One of them being the Hanover Trust, the one where it's like, oh, fuck you, I'm buying the majority.
Yeah.
So it turns out he was using that one too.
Cody, let me know if I'm wrong here. I've heard that
Fuck yeah.
I've heard that Bank of America is actually not an American bank. It's an Italian bank.
Really? I didn't know that.
I'll buy it. Bank of America is apparently an Italian bank. I was wondering if that's related to this boy.
I don't know. I'll look into it.
We need to check that out.
Boa.
I can
That
see
sounds
that.
Italian.
Bank of America Vespucci.
America Vespucci.
On a scale of Bernie Madoff, Ponzi clocks in at 153rd.
So Bernie Madoff was
53
times worse.
Yes.
I think the question that everyone's really thinking about is, in comparison to Bernie Mac, where does he lie?
He was a saint.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna say at least 1/5 less doing it for the kids.
Right.
Probably.
Bernie Mac was like a plus.
Yeah, I would say Bernie Mac probably
was a plus.
He did it for the kids.
Did it
more.
for the kids.
Always doing it for the kids.
All right. Okay. I just want to make sure that that's not the same.
We're on the
It's
same.
out there.
We're on the same.
It's on the table now.
We're throwing this first name around. Bernie. No one cares about politics. We're just thinking about Max.
Or Madoffs.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, science.
Your average investor got 30 cents for every dollar they invested.
Oh, tight.
So the original Ponzi promise was give me $100 and 90 days, and I'll turn it into $200.
That's great.
That's amazing.
I would do that with no questions.
That's
asked.
amazing. But what it actually turned out to is give me $100 and 90 days, and I'll give you $30. Now, I can do that for anyone, and I don't even need the 90 days.
No, I just buy a video game and then give you the change.
Give me 30 minutes at a bar. I'll buy anyone a drink.
His ass gets thrown in jail for federal mail fraud. Like 3 or 5 years.
Federal mail.
That's it?
Yeah.
He gets out?
Yep. But ready? As soon as he gets out of the federal pokey, the state pokey.
Yeah!
Massachusetts is waiting outside like, nah, fuck you twice. And instantly throws in a larceny charge for the exact same.
Fuck yeah.
So most people are like, roast mortem. That's double jeopardy. That's not allowed to happen. But the trick the governments used was it was the federal
and state.
It was the federal government charging for fraud, and it was the Massachusetts state government charging for larceny. So double jeopardy doesn't apply. The government pretty much dirty tag team. Yeah,
that's a classy move.
Did him dirty.
He just got fucking spit roasted.
So he's in jail, and when you're in jail, whether it's federal, state, you're still entitled to get mail through the United States Postal Service.
Not this motherfucker, right?
Oh no, yeah, he was allowed.
He was allowed to get mail. All right, I was
it's
just
in
doing
there.
this.
It's
I was
all
wagging
inclusive.
my finger for anyone
It's
who
all
was
inclusive.
wondering.
You're allowed to still get mail. You're still a human. You're a citizen. You're allowed to get USPS mail in prison. Guess what his most received thing in the mail was?
Pasta.
I'm gonna go with someone named like Carl Pansy, who's in the box with him, and he just kept getting his mail.
Yeah, no, that's who made him a bitch. Carlos Pansy.
Nope.
It's like, hey, Carlos Ponzi, you're my bitch now.
His most received document in prison was personal checks from investors that still believed he could pull it off.
Really?
Yes.
Fuck.
He received letters like, Carlo, how long you in there for? I just put together the capital I needed to get you the money. He still had people on the hook while the governments were doing the takedown.
He must have been very charming.
He must have had charisma.
Yes. I feel like we should be roasting those idiots.
And of course, the checks come in, but his warden's like, "You're not, no." Like,
You don't have no.
Yeah, so like that's how we know he got checks, but didn't act because he's fucking fraudster.
But just let me put one in.
No, you don't get nothing.
Let me get one.
So he gets out of jail, but something else gets out.
Sex tape.
No, Travis.
Fuck.
He never naturalized as a U.S. citizen.
Oh.
So he gets out of jail from Massachusetts, and then the federal government is back at it again, like,
Build that wall.
Yeah. The federal government's like, I know we locked you up, so instead, we're going to send you back as...
To Boot Island.
Yeah. Italy. And I love this. He was booted out as a quote-unquote undesirable. Which is, you can't do that nowadays.
That's a little spicy.
I'm not against it, right? For this circumstance.
This circumstance, he deserves to go back into the gangrenous boot.
Ooh. It's a little salty. Not much return. Not much return.
He's gonna be just like steaming in Sicily. So at the bottom of the tip of the shoe.
Like a nice muscle.
This is actually some gorgeous choreographed litigation going on here because the federal government knocks on his door first and is like, fuck you for doing fraud, puts him in jail, gets out of jail. Massachusetts is like, fuck you for larceny, puts him in jail, he gets out of jail. And the federal government has then had enough time to be like, fuck you for not being American, go back to Italy. And
why hasn't he fucking lawyered up?
Wait a second.
Like, legit lawyered up.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Does Italy go after him?
Italy does not welcome him back with open arms.
Oh, shit!
Italy won't take you back.
Essentially, he's still on the hook for crimes. You're still on the hook for your crimes after you're deported. It's just that your own government might take pity on you. An Italian immigrant in America is going to get crucified. An Italian in Italy might fare a little bit better, but the person in charge of the persecution was like, no, you're a dick. I know you're Italian, but you're still a dick. We got to persecute. So he still went to jail in Italy.
So he went to jail. Oh, wow.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. But at least he gets 5 square meals a day because it's Italy.
One of those meals is Campari.
Cut to Henry Hill just being like, you gotta cut that fucking garlic so thin it melts in the pan.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets out, and now we talk about his death. 1941.
He gets out and dies immediately?
Oh, 1941. Struck with a sudden heart attack. Survives that cardiac episode, only to go on to 1948. Good year. He nearly goes blind, just from
literal Magooing.
Failing health. But, he endured the deterioration of his eyesight to suffer a brain hemorrhage in 1948 that completely paralyzed his left side. Oh, I'm sorry, his right side.
This dude is like a Rasputin of natural death. Like, oh!
Who knows how many strokes he had in prison?
Yeah. He's out now.
No, that's what I mean. Like, before all this shit starts happening.
And he finally meets his sad, lonely end in a Brazilian free clinic in 1949.
He's in Brazil?
He's always moving around trying to get new fucking marks and pigeons and stools.
See, when you said Brazilian free, I just thought it was a very hairy area.
A literal free clinic.
You can't have a Brazilian here, you idiot.
So Ponzi died penniless, blind, paralyzed, and European.
He was born one of those.
Yeah.
Even if they never got me for it, it was cheap at that price. Without malice aforethought, I had given them the best show that was ever staged in their territory since the landing of the Pilgrims. It was easily worth $15 million to watch me pull the thing over. So Ponzi, the showman,
the only guy.
Ponzi, the showman, thought he was like, doing something entertaining.
Right. They still liked me.
Oh yeah, it's like I robbed them, but my performance was the exact amount of which I robbed, so leave me alone.
Yeah, that's just that Italian showmanship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a regular Christopher Columbus inventing countries.
Christopher Angel.
So in closing, I want to actually try and think, how do we legitify Ponzi's scheme? Because if you think about it, he actually was upon some reasonable thinking to generate money. It was just, it needed some tweaking. And I feel like he should have started like a mailbox, etc. type business, you know what I mean? Where you could just have stamps and liquidate them for the cheap. Well, not the post office, but we can cut you a deal.
Counterfeit stamps?
Yeah, but no. The stamps were real.
The whole post office.
You could undersell the post office.
The whole IRC thing is such hogwash because he only ever did $64 worth of it.
That was how much was in transit at the time, but we do know he was sustaining himself a little bit with this maneuver.
Okay, but
it didn't scale. It didn't scale.
Yeah, exactly. He probably saw how he was taking in money faster than he was able to do those transactions and just decided to flip the money.
Yeah, like it was just the easiest way to get money from him was just from the new investors instead of...
I gotta say, I'm not that smart.
Were you going anywhere with that?
No, I'm just not as smart as him.
He's a smart boy.
In hindsight, it's easy to be like, you dirty prick, but like, at the time, I would be like, I wish I thought of that.
Right, so he's doing all this shit mainly in the 20s, right?
Yeah, that was the height of the...
So, like,
shit.
how much did this cunt contribute to
the
Great
know.
Depression?
It's hard to
I feel like there's a little bit of a,
absolutely.
He's fucking over our government with his liras, Build the wall around Italy.
Build the wall around Italy.
Build the wall around Carlo.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like he might have contributed a little bit to the depression. I don't know that for a fact. There's a lot of fucking shit that went on with that. Bankers were just dum-dums back then.
He still, he definitely had to have contributed to a scare.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When people are like,
sure.
oh shit, my bank branch is It's falling down.
And he
On here, boys.
that happened to him, and he used the coffee, donuts, and $2 million.
Yeah.
Interesting thing with that episode is he moved women to the front of the line. And I don't know what he claimed. It was like, oh, so they don't have to suffer in like the summer heat. But this is like Boston, so it's like, what summer heat are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I was thinking like maybe like he was like moving like, women weren't necessarily like workers and breadwinners back in 1920.
He's trying to pass the money to them.
Well, no,
he might be trying to like flood the line with women. So like when
so when the women get to the top of the line, he'd instruct them to like put their tongue through the hole of the donut.
Whoa, what's going on?
And then people would get really hard.
What's going on?
Are you talking about glory holes?
No. I'm talking about just licking the donut in a sexual manner.
Okay.
What the fuck's going on?
I don't know.
Donuts, coffee, $2 million.
He was selling sex.
Carlo Ponzi, suck my skin float. He is $2 million.
So I was thinking he was moving women up there because like men were like the traditional breadwinners back in the day. So he was just like trying to delay paying out to the men. Because if you see like a line of women just outside of an office, I'm like, I'm waiting in that. You know what I mean? At least that's what I would do. Like, yeah, sexist.
You're
yes.
a sexist. Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Sexist.
What's this, suffrage? I think not.
They deserve the kitchen.
So,
dude, he should just set up PayPal. What an idiot.
So, to those people who think Ponzi was a machine driven entirely by greed, I'm going to relay the most charitable thing he's done in his entire life, just to put this in perspective for you.
Donuts.
As he was a nurse in his younger days, witnessed another fellow nurse, not one he was well acquainted with, receive horrible burns to her body, and he, without knowing her too well, donated 220 square inches of his lower back and ass skin to her.
Ass skin?
Oh yeah, that's where the first donation of skin usually comes from. And if you don't know,
but he's a paper guy. He doesn't care about skin.
Speaking of paper, 220 inches of paper is roughly equivalent to 2.5 sheets of paper.
All right, so 2.5 sheets of
paper worth of skin given to someone you don't know.
How big was this guy's ass?
I think I got 2.5 sheets of paper.
You do not.
No way, dude. Your badonk is not as big as
his lower back and ass. So, like, if you
Lower
think like
back,
each,
okay.
So
the tramp stamp included.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not giving up my tramp stamp. It says too sexy with a 2.
So you think like each cheek is
too
like
sexy
a sheet.
is what my tramp stamp says, and I'm not giving that up for no one.
Yeah. So if you think like each cheek of yours is like a sheet, and then like a little bit of the tramp stamp area, that's 220.
Well, he's a real
square
nice
inches of
guy, but
skin.
they didn't have printers back then, so he couldn't compare it to that.
Nope.
Yeah, you can't fact shit back then.
And that is the life of Carlo Ponzi. Now, just in case we've inspired any future con artists, I would like to recite the con artist's 10 commandments right now. Now, this wasn't written by Carlo Ponzi.
It was written by God.
It was written by Lustig.
Moses.
Mosey.
It was written by Victor Lustig. And he wrote down 10 commandments of the con artist. Number 1, be a patient listener. And I agree with that. You know what I mean? You need to know your mark.
Kind of like across the board, good quality to have. So.
Yep.
Anyway, continue.
Never look bored is number 2, which is, I'll agree with that one.
Great quality all around, too.
Yeah, especially if you're like a freelance worker and just don't look bored.
Yeah, you just always gotta be like, yeah, yeah, I love it, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
what I
I'm
do
a
at
golden
work,
lab.
what I do at work is I break a render in the timeline, so I just need to re-render it. You know what
I
I mean?
love that trick.
Yeah, that's a good trick.
As an editor.
Number 3, wait for the other person to reveal political opinions. Then agree with them. Brown nose.
Yep.
Trump done did it. Build the wall.
Number 4, let the other person reveal religious views. Then have the same ones.
Guess what? Jesus was an idiot. I'm Muslim.
This one confuses the shit out of me.
Okay.
Hint at sex talk, but don't follow it up unless the other person shows a strong interest.
So
I initially thought, like, is he trying to seduce a bitch? So
Sounds.
hint at sex talk, but don't follow it up. So I think this was like, I love fucking women, don't you?
But you weren't supposed to be like, look how hot I get.
Yeah, that's weird.
Check this out, boys.
That's weird
the
for
no-no.
investors.
Leave that at the door.
Never discuss illness unless some special concern is shown. I guess just illness just flaccidizes money boners.
Dude,
Right.
you said flaccid, dude.
Yeah, I did.
That's weird.
Now, when you say illness, I mean, we're not talking about spitting rhymes and drinking Monster Energy
never.
beverage.
Never.
This is like El Plago, because we're in French.
Oui.
Wee
Whoop,
wee.
whoop. Fago.
Never pry into a person's personal circumstances. They'll tell you eventually.
You don't ask anyone if they're a juggalo. You look for the tattoo.
Hatchet man. Never boast. Just let your importance be quietly obvious. So that's pretty much, what is it, Ted
He's
Roosevelt?
been holding the door open for a lot of people.
Walk
been there for 40
walk
minutes.
quietly with a big stick. or whatever.
Speak softly with a large phallic Lexington steel size.
Never be untidy.
Teddy was the original Lexington.
What was that?
Never be untidy.
Oh, yes.
I feel like, it shows your hand that you're an unclean person if you're unclean. And this last one, I definitely don't agree on. Never get drunk.
What an idiot. That's the best time to sell someone.
No, con artist, yeah.
You got to you might have to schmooze your marks a little bit.
Yeah,
Well, you have to get a little drunk. You just don't get plastered. You try to get the other person plastered. You get semi-drunk.
Well, also back in the 1800s, I think it was pretty normal to be like 6 or 7 beers deep all the time.
That is
That
very
was-
true.
that was
Or
the
wine,
normal,
so it was
yeah.
getting plastered
Well,
was like getting
Mulled
fucked.
wine.
Yeah, it's France. They don't drink beer. They just drink wine.
Yeah.
Grape beer.
Grape beer. The
Grape
grape
beer.
soda of beer.
That Welch's grape beer. A little Asian girl just talking about how good it is for your body.
Ooh, it's so good.
I'm a healthy now.
Are you?
Remember those commercials?
No.
Am I the only one?
No, I don't remember that.
All right.
You're
Well,
weird.
Welch's. Wait, there was an Asian girl. Welch's.
Just like this, like cute little Asian orphan looking kid that was like slinging.
What
juice.
made you think it was an orphan?
I have to check that
I
out
don't know.
now.
Use orphans.
That's pretty much it for Ponzi. Thanks for that, Tom.
It's a good transition, Cody.
Oh, yeah. Well, so the initial Ponzi promise was 100% return in 90 days. Pretty nice.
Mm.
He even sweetened the pot after that, saying a 50% return in 50 days, or 45 days, which is essentially the same deal, just half, double timed.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what we in our time would regard as like a 400% APY, which is ridiculous. Do you know what like the average APY back in the day was, like for a bank?
For a
Back
bank,
in
it
the
was like
day or
2%, right?
Yeah, it was 5%.
It was 5%.
Yeah, it was
Wow, that's
5%.
Fucking high as
Yeah,
shit.
for like a
For
high
today's
yield.
standards, where they just.
I mean,
rob you.
Yeah, now it's 0.01.
Yeah, 1.5 or something like that.
Fuck them.
But like this was savings back in the day, and it would yield 5 points
right.
on the year. 5 points. Hey, that's the same amount of points on an iTunes rating star.
Oh yes.
Whoa, Cody, that's a great point you brought up.
But if you wanted like 25 points, you'd have to do something fancy. I don't know, like you'd have to like let up 5 stars or something like that. You know what I mean?
You would have to have 5 stars
To have 25
the
points.
5-pointed 5 stars. Look at that. 5 points.
There's 5 stars in Orion's belt.
That's not true?
That's not true.
There's 3.
There's 3.
You
No,
lousy,
there's not 3.
you
There's
lousy
5.
fucking
God,
chump.
Only
damn
5
it.
stars.
Hey, listeners, why don't you give us a 5-star rating on iTunes? And you'll be
Yeah,
very happy about
we'll
it.
love
Let's not
forever.
beat around the
That's
Ponzi
it.
bush.
We're done with math. Fuck it. We're done.
We've done it, everyone.
We're done with, no more
We've
math
just
for this
now
episode.
done-
We're done with Ponzi. We're done with math.
Had
Thank
to
you so much for listening. This has been a hell of an evening. My legs are shivering with excitement.
It's
and
really cold out.
Yeah, it's pretty cold actually. We left the window open.
Yeah,
shit.
I'm gonna make so much money tomorrow after what you told me. I'm gonna make like
Don't do
5
any of this.
cheese
Don't
nuggets.
do any of this.
You know, none of this exists. But what I will propose is that Burger King has 10 chicken nuggets
We're not
for
sponsored by
$149.
Burger
Dude,
King.
that is a great
don't
way to make chicken nuggets happen in your mouth.
Exactly. So you open a store
What
that
was that
sells chicken
sentence?
nuggets.
What was that sentence, Travis?
Dude, it's English.
They're
first.
happening.
It's English first. They're not speaking English.
Oh
They're
my
speaking
God.
Muzzy. I learned it in a book.
Book on tape. Thanks for asking. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm Tom Saltman. You can follow me at Saunt, SAUNTCHT.
I'm Travis. You can follow me at Travis Elysian with 2 E's on Twat.
I am Cody McCann. You can follow me on Twitter at Cody McCann, CODYMCCANN.
And you can follow the whole collective, Roast Mortem Cast, at Twitter. That's also the Instagram. Write us an email. Let us know what you think. And thanks for tuning in.
Haha.
Hell yeah,
Love you,
dog.
bye.
Thank you, Shane.
Go make your own
Thank you,
Ponzi
Shane, for
schemes.
listening. Don't do that. No.
No.
Good night.
Hey, if you like what you just heard, we'd love to hear back from you.
Hey, dumb idiots.
Yeah.
We want to hear your feedback, and we'd love to know if you have someone that you want us to roast or whatever. Just want to tag us on Instagram or Twitter, or you can email us. It's all roastmortemcast. You'll find us.
Oh, yeah.
Gmail.
Yeah, Gmail. Well, no, we use Hotmail.
We don't accept.
No,
we don't use Hotmail.
If you don't
Hotmail.
use Hotmail, can't change that.
If you don't use Hotmail, just end it.
And we'll do something fun with your names. Should you include those, we'll set up a fake obituary.
In your honor.
In your honor. Fake one. We're not going to actually kill you. And this is going to be the stylized roast mortem cast shoutouts that you can be a part of.
Yeah, you get a little tag at the end of the episode. And if you don't want to, like, say your name for whatever reason, like you're one of those people that just, like, jerk off in your basement all day, and you just, like, have no social functions, you can send us a DM or something with your name if you want your name out there.
Yeah.
Or else we're going to use your fucking handle, which is probably, like, jerk me off.
Yeah, you
Boy,
can get us
69.
a pseudonym. We'll make fun of anything.
Yeah, good time. So thanks for tuning in again.
Yeah, love you.
Thank you.